Hi everyone and welcome to the Property Education Company. This is our Flash Friday finance update for August 7, and that's an auspicious date because it is my mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mum. And just to let you know how much I appreciate you always listening and reading my stuff that I send out. It's lovely because I always get a lovely little email from Mum after these are sent that she keeps an eye on what I'm up to. So I really appreciate that. But we've had some lovely feedback recently. And if anyone wants a question answered, you've got that burning finance question that you would love to know the answer to, please email me and I will be sure to put it on one of our broadcasts. So, but one of the things we've been struggling with in lockdown in Melbourne is boredom, a bit of boredom. And Mum always had a saying, boring people have boring times. So, and I was on a podcast with a group of other business people and people were saying, well, what are we doing to relax? And some are fishing and some are cooking and some are gardening. And frankly, I'd rather slit my wrists than do all of those things. But what I do like doing is singing, but I'll tell you about that. But there's a great quote from Zig Ziglar. Of course, motivation is not permanent, but then neither is bathing. But that's something you should do on a regular basis. I love the idea. But my Glee Club have a song club on Monday nights, and we also sing on Saturday afternoons online on Zoom. So if you want to have a sing, there is no judgment here. You don't have to be a good singer and there's no audition. It's just for fun. So I can highly recommend joining Song Club with the wonderful Vicky Jacobs, who's an institution in Melbourne and Australian theatre and performing. And this is the graph, like all those graphs we're currently getting from COVID people. And I just love this. The bra's out the window down, shaving's gone, alcohol's through the roof, as you can see. And toilet paper had its moment in the sun and is gone, but sweat packs are well in. So you'd want to be in that business, wouldn't you? And masks come and go. So a finance disclaimer, no, this is general information I'm giving, but should you require a proper investigation of your finance, we'd love to help you individually and then we will assess you properly. So, and this is also in the transcript below, so please feel free. So what are most successful investors doing at the moment? And it's interesting, most of my clients have had rentals with relatively lower socioeconomic tenants and they're all holding their own. They're not moving, they're paying their rent and they're doing well. So we're having a lot less trouble than you might think. They also spread their risk across the country. They have houses from Perth to Queensland to wherever. And when Melbourne's in lockdown and feeling very constrained, they also have property doing a lot better in different parts of the country, which is really interesting. So it's not hurting you and it's paying the debt off. And so there's more chance you'll be able to hold on longer to the property and let it do its thing and grow for you. Because if you don't get growth, there's no point, you know, in property investing. That's the key. And don't think just because you previously did work, if you've lost your job, that you should be running a business. If you're going to run a business, it is a different kettle of fish. And I see people regularly who've gone off, run a business, struggled for a few years, ended up with tax debt and other things, can't borrow, then go back to getting a job. Rather than avoid that pain, get some help first so you can set yourself up properly. It's really important. And there's heaps of help out there and I'm happy to give people that information. Just email me. So where are rates going? It appears not up, but who knows, you know. But Vero rates at present are ranging from the mid to high twos. And although you might see some highlighted introductory rates below 2%. Watch out for the comparison rates on these. And the comparison rate is a comparison of all the fees associated with the loan over a 30-year period. And also the revert rate after that introductory period. So sometimes they give you this great golden starter rate, but then as soon as it reverts, that will change. So keep an eye out for those, because sometimes you might be better off just hitting the middle ground and keeping it for longer. It might be cheaper for you. And rates are changing all the time at the moment, and what banks are offering or lenders are offering. And it's in relation to what the business is going on with them. They now have so much data about what's happening. They don't rely on what's happening with the RBA and rates. It's become much more focused on how they're managing their own business. So keep an eye out for that. Things are changing radically all the time. So a summary of the strategies of successful investors, or just a few tips on if you've got no tenant. So make your house more appealing by advertising for dogs. It's a really easy thing. We love dogs. And generally people who are going to bring a dog to your house are going to do it anyway. So why not advertise and make them feel welcome? Include gardening. And the other tip is give a month's rent free rather than actually reduce the rent over the long term. And the reason is the lender then looks at, well, what was the benchmark? What rent do you, say you were getting $500 a week, but if you reduced it to $450, you're now down at $450 for assessment. Whereas we prefer you gave away the month free and then your assessment's still at $500 a week. And also the chance in 12 months' time of you being able to increase that is from 500 to 550 rather than 450 to 500. So it's really important to think about that and the longer term strategy. Agents sometimes are not aware of this and will just go for the quickest, cheapest, easiest way to get someone in. You want to think about your strategy for these properties and how you're managing that. Also, as I said before, pay off your loans. Principal and interest rates have never been cheaper. It's an awesome time to get ahead. And don't pay the lazy tax. One client refers to, remember to watch those rates and refi or switch rates to lower rates as soon as you can. And please feel free, if we haven't contacted you, we try and review all of our clients regularly. But if we haven't got to you, please make sure you contact us. So another thing I wanted to alert you about is you can swap your security sometimes without changing your loan. So you might have an $800,000 property and you might have a $500,000 loan. And as long as the LVR or the loan to value ratio stays the same, you could sell your $800,000 property, buy a cheaper property and end up with the same loan at $500,000 as long as the loan to value ratio was similar. Not over 80 and didn't change. And this can actually mean you've got the same loan, but you've ended up with more cash. So that's a possibility. And it's very handy if your circumstances change or you want to bank some cash, or there might be a way around this. So I've helped numerous people do this. It's a sophisticated strategy, but it's well worthwhile for the right people. And also remember, banks assess you at much higher rates than you are paying, and it's to protect you and them. But banks' assessment rates are still well over 5%, 5.5%, 6%, whereas I know you're only paying in the twos. And you go, well, that seems extreme. But it's that because we've seen what can happen, rates do when they move, they'll move quite quickly, and we want to make sure you're in for the long haul. And people say to me, but I can afford this. I don't know why they're not letting me. And I go, well, it's all very well to say you can afford from an online calculator, but that's not necessarily how the bank will assess you. So keep that in mind. And I've got this fabulous video that a client shared with me, and I just want to share it with you.
There's some complete idiots around, isn't there? I mean, I'm out now today after the government's announcement, the latest announcements, and I'm the only one out and about wearing a face mask. I mean, we've all been advised to do it. I don't quite see the logic in it, but you know, at least I'm trying. Some people are just absolute idiots.
I just love her. She's fabulous. And so wear your face mask, but how cute. I certainly could do with one. And please send me your best funny thing. I really love clients sharing their memes and things with me. And if you've got anything fabulous, share it on. We'd be so grateful. Have a great week. We will see you next week.